The quality of playing Killer in Dead by Daylight has slowly been getting worse and worse as time goes on. With the most recent patch 9.5.0 featuring the new Survivor, new map, and the Trickster rework, we also happen to get a rework for some perks as well. One of these perks being Fast Track, the Yunjin perk. With Fast Track's rework, it gained a new effect. This perk now makes it so whenever a killer hooks a survivor, you gain 3 tokens up to 9. The next time you hit a great skill check on a generator, that generator loses 2 charges of its progress permanently per token, and this is not regressible for the killer. This perk acts as a mini brand new part that you'll never run out of. This perk also stacks with other survivors that are running this perk. I'm sure this goes without explaining, but going against this perk as a killer is absolute misery. You're heavily punished for doing your sole objective, which is to sacrifice survivors, thus a contradiction forms. Over the past year or so, a debate in the Dead by Daylight community has been on and off, and that debate being, is slugging an issue? Behavior has taken the stance that slugging is an issue in prior dev streams, with one of their solutions being Unbreakable and Tenacity base kit, which thankfully didn't make it past the PTB. My question is, does Behavior understand that when you introduce a perk that punishes killers for doing what the game wants them to do, killers aren't going to want to do that task anymore? Fast Track is the ultimate contradiction in perk design, and I cannot believe it made it past PTB or even in concept. Anyways, enough about Fast Track. I'm sure you get the point by now, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos on it. I want to talk about Behavior picking and choosing when to have skill expression and lowering skill ceilings. I'm sure you can tell from my username that I'm a big fan of playing Wesker, and with this new patch he feels like absolute shit to play. With all the unintended buggy stuff aside, I think Behavior deciding to remove Wesker is one of the most out-of-touch things devs can do. Nothing screams, I don't understand why people play this killer than removing something so minuscule. I also don't understand why they draw the line at stuff like Billy and Wesker when characters like Blight and Nurse are just allowed to exist. I mean, God forbid a killer have situational mobility that ultimately doesn't even benefit them or hinder them. Removing something like this is just completely anti-fun, and it speaks to bigger issues in the game than just removing something like Wesker. And it has me worried that they're planning on dumbing the game down and making it even more one-dimensional than it already is becoming. Removing Wesker also removed an insanely cool Wesker tech that I personally wanted to hit, but I never got the chance to because they removed Haddonfield, and that tech being Sky Instas. This was an extremely situational tech, and you would have very accurate instaflicks and proper timing plus positioning. I'll put a clip on screen showcasing this tech. I never got to hit it myself, so I don't have a clip of it, but credit goes to Alranican for this clip. Now, Wesker is one of the few killers in the game with an almost infinite skill ceiling, and removing stuff like this lowers the skill ceiling very heavily. Another thing I would like to talk about is Behavior removing low pro flicks on Billy. If you're unaware what this is, it was a super interesting tech where you had to run the add-on low pro chains on Hillbilly. This add-on makes it so when you rev your chainsaw into a pallet or breakable wall, you keep on sprinting through it. Now, the tech they removed was extremely situational and difficult to pull off consistently. It required precise timing and a lot of practice into flicking. Now, I do need to specify this tech wasn't entirely removed, but they removed the curve window on it post-pallet break, thus rendering this add-on pretty much useless considering you only go in a straight line from what you destroyed depending on the direction you flick to, and it doesn't even insta-down. Again, following the reoccurring theme with the situational mobility Behavior seems to hate. Now, I wanted to bring up a point about stuff similar to this in other games. An example that pops into mind immediately for me is a game called Sea of Thieves. If you're unfamiliar, it's just a multiplayer PvP game where there's a bunch of islands, and you and up to 3 players go on a pirate ship, and your main goal is to just fight other players and steal their treasure. That's just a brief summary. It's deeper than that. I just don't want to go on a tangent, so I'll leave it there. Anyways, Sea of Thieves had a launch glitch that was only possible on the smallest ship in the game, and it also could only fit 2 people maximum. This bug allowed you to catch up to bigger ships by launching yourself, the player, across the ocean to board these ships. This gave you an attempt to win a 1v4, anchor their ship, and give your teammate the chance to catch up. Now, if you die on the ship, you just respawn on your boat, so it's not like you're gaining this distance and keeping it permanently, and you'd have to win a 1v4 and anchor their ship all at the same time. Now, this glitch made for some extremely fun plays even in solo. There was another launch glitch that was only possible on islands, but it also made for some extremely fun stealth plays. Although it was very situational considering you'd be relying on a ship being near the island close enough to launch to. There was also another bug that was possible only by shooting yourself out of a cannon, and doing this glitch removed your velocity restriction when going through water, which allowed you to basically dolphin dive through the water, which was an extremely fun glitch, albeit a little more damaging than the other one, as it was possible on any ship archetype and was way less situational. In conclusion, I made this video to point out the fact that it feels like Behavior is trying to dumb Dead by Daylight down more than it already is, and make the game way more one-dimensional. Whether this is an attempt to make the game easier to get into or something else, all this is doing is making the people who have actively enjoyed Dead by Daylight not want to play it anymore. Anyways, that's about everything I want to say in this video. I've only been playing Dead by Daylight for a year now, so I'm sure I missed a ton of examples that Behavior has done, so please feel free to leave some examples in the comments, as well as your opinions on all of this. Thank you for watching.